everyone, I'm Michelle with Lydia Lilac. I am going to just do a quick tutorial today on how I cut my bangs. I realize that a lot of people have made tutorials on these things already, but I just wanted to give you a quick idea of what I do. I am notorious for cutting my own hair, cutting my own bangs. I maybe go to the salon like once a year. Just with, I prefer to do it myself just because I'm usually concerned about how it's going to turn out when somebody else does it. And I live in an area where there's a lot of turnover with our jobs. And nobody stays consistent in one place at once. So although there is a salon that I like in particular a lot, typically there's somebody new all the time there, and so it's hard to find somebody who will cut your hair just right. So anyway, like I said, I typically cut my own hair and my own bangs. And as you can see, I do have a long bang. I was actually growing out for the summer, but I have decided that since fall is coming, that I wanted to cut a shorter bang. I've been clipping my hair back a lot, and I'm just tired of wearing the same hairstyle all of the time. I have a very round face too, so it's nice to kind of have just bangs to soften my face a little bit whenever I pull it up or braid it or anything like that. So like I said, I did have I have a long bang because I used to have a shorter bang. So for me, this part was pretty easy just to separate the part out that I wanted to cut as my bang, which I already did. Typically, if I did not have a bang yet, I would have used my comb to choose the area that I was going to have as a bang. I like a longer bang, so I cut my bangs in sections, which I will show you now. I'm going to split this top part. I'm going to separate it from the bottom layer, and I'm going to pin this back. You just need a clip and to do this. Bobby pin or anything like that will work. You're not getting crazy here. So just anything to clip it back. And why I do this is because if I were to go in and just cut that thick bang like it was, I would end up with varying layers and it would just look really goofy. I do feather them a little bit at the end, but I'll show you how I do that. So I have my lower layer here, my bang, and you'll have to give me a second because I'm looking in the camera and then I'm also going to be looking up in the mirror, so I'm going to be looking around quite a bit. I have a wonderful wonderful shear here. I got these at Ulta. I would recommend if you're going to be cutting your own bangs or maintaining your own bangs that you get a really nice scissor, okay? I think these cost like $18 maybe, but I use them all the time, and like I said, I cut my own hair, so they're invaluable to me. Okay, so I have my area selected for my bang, and I'm just pinching my two fingers together. I haven't decided quite how short I want to go yet, so I'm not going to just cut all the way. I'm going to cut a little bit at a time. I like to cut in a diagonal like this, just so that way I give it a little bit of texture. And just go in a diagonal and snip a little bit, and I encourage you to do like I am doing and don't measure out like how short you want it and then go from there. I started just below eye level, which I like, and I probably will leave it here. Usually I cut a little longer day one, and then over time in the next few days, if I want it a little shorter, I'll go a little shorter, because it's easier to take away than it is to put back. You're going to have to wait a little while for it to grow out longer. So as you can see, I did cut kind of straight across as far as length goes. So now whenever I brush them to the side, they're going to be shorter and go a little longer, which is kind of the style that I like. Okay, so I have my first layer done here, and I recommend maybe to flat iron your bangs before you get started, so that way you have a really good line and they're not wavy or anything like that. I did not do this time around, and I can already tell that That probably would have been a good idea, but that's okay. I can go back in a little while and fix that. So I have, actually let's turn my flat iron on now. Okay, so I did this top layer, or this bottom layer, and now I'm going to just simply pull the rest of it down, brush it out. My brush has a lot of hair in it. It's kind of gross. I need to clean it up. Use your comb. And I just peer through my bangs, and you can see on your own hair when you do this, you'll be able to see through your bang and see where you cut. And then I just start snipping from where I see, and again, I'm cutting at an angle. I never really cut straight across because I like texture on my bangs. And if you don't like to have like an angle like I do on your bangs, if you want them to appear one length whenever you put them to the side, you would just cut this side a little shorter than the other whenever you cut, and I might actually go in and do that a little bit just to kind of fix it up. It's always best if you get them done professionally. I do need to disclaimer that, but there are those of us out there that like to try things on ourselves and who are a little daring. But if you're unsure, I recommend you just go ahead and get them done. See, okay, so if you see the shape is very drastic, so I actually might bring them up a little bit on the side because it is the length, I mean not the shape, the length is very drastic. So I am going to go ahead and pull them all to the side like this. And I am going to even them out just a little bit on this end. Not all the way, but like I said, just a little bit in comparison to the other side, because I do like them to have a little bit of slant to them. Maybe I'll go a little bit more. It's hard to tell. You just kind of have to play around with it. But the best advice I can give you is to not cut too much all at once, because then you'll be upset if you make a mistake that you can't fix. If you cut them long and you decide you don't like them and you need somebody to do them for you, you still have some hair to work with. If you cut them short off the bat and decide that you don't like the way they look, then you're going to have a major problem, because there's not going to be really anything that they can do about it too much. So I just have this tiny piece over here that I trimmed up a little bit. Let's see. Alright, it's going to take a couple days for me to retrain them because they're used to being pinned back all the time, but I think for now that's probably it. I might go back in the next day or two and shorten them up a little bit if they're driving me crazy getting in my eye or anything like that, which they probably will, but like I said, I don't like to do that right away. I like to try to give it a little bit of time so that way I can just make sure after washing and everything that I like them. And that's another tip for you, is to always cut them dry if you're going to do it yourself, because if you don't, there's a really high likelihood that you will cut them too short, and when they dry they'll be a lot shorter than you want them to be. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll probably shorten this up just a tiny bit because I'm not liking the way that that's looking, which I love because I can do it myself and I can make it you know, how I like it, which is great. But yeah, that's pretty much, we'll see how this looks. Nope, I have this really weird long piece here. Alright. Alright, Okay, well that's pretty much it. So hopefully you liked this video. Thanks for watching. This is the first time I've made a tutorial like this, so I hope that you find it helpful. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye from Lydia Lilac.